So we're gonna wait for people to join. I'm gonna share this on my personal page, and you can share it from there.
How can you tell when somebody joins?
You'll see a number over there.
Okay.
Like at the
one.
top.
Who is it?
Hello.
Oh, are they gone now?
Wait.
Why would you leave? Are we not interesting enough for you? I'm hurt. My soul hurts.
Well, I'm here with Dara. We're going to be talking about anxiety this week.
Fun. You see, I got my anxiety meds right here in case anything too serious happens. Go lorazepam. It's a powerful tranquilizer, yet they still give it to people with anxiety because it calms us down. But they also use it in all the hospital shows, so it's kind of weird to hear the doctors be, give this patient 10 milligrams lorazepam. It's not even pronounced that. It's pronounced lorazepam. Like, what are they thinking? We got a viewer.
Yay, it's my grandma.
Hi, Chloe's grandma.
Hi, Grandma.
That's so nice.
Welcome to OurTism. We do these talks every week at 7 Pacific time.
7.
10
I'm
over
tired.
where Dara lives in Maryland.
Oh, Maryland. It's very late. Hello.
Hi, Grandma. I have to sneeze.
Uh-oh. 1, 2, 3. 3.
Hi, Lillian.
Hi, Spock. Congratulations. I really hope you get the show. That's so cool. And I'm like fangirling already. You have to get it.
Okay, we're not going to talk about that.
Okay, I'll stop. We got 2 little eyes watching. 3. But it doesn't say who the third person is. Person number 3. Linda.
Oh, that's my Grammy.
Your other grandma?
Yeah.
You got both grandparents. Wow.
Alright, this week we're talking about anxiety with Dara.
Hello. Oh, that's my left. Oh, that's so weird.
We're going to wait a few minutes for people to join in. So if you're viewing this after it's finished, you can skip forward a few minutes.
Oh, it's back to 2 again.
Yeah, that number will change a lot.
3 again. Hi, Benji.
If anyone has any questions, feel free to start posting them and we'll get to them eventually.
Yep. I know a lot about the subject. Woo.
So, OurTism, if you don't know about it, we help individuals with autism deal with what they want to do after high school. So we start that transition period. Then we have life map coaching, which is an individualized coaching based on what your goals are. And then we also have support groups and social groups and stuff like that. Welcome, Lynn. Hi, Grammy. Hi, Papa. Thanks for watching. We'll get started in just a minute. This week we're talking about anxiety with Dara.
I'm already fidgeting. This is my anxiety talking. Cannot stay still. Have to fidget all the time. It's always something. My driver and instructor today was like, does your tapping call you now? Because I was tapping on the steering wheel while we were at all the red lights. I was just tapping away, and he was like, as long as it calms you down. And I was like, this is my life.
All right, let's get started.
Okay.
All right, so anxiety is common to those on the spectrum and those who are atypical. Benji, thank you. So we thought this would be a great topic to cover with someone who lives with anxiety and knows about what it's like to live with it and how to deal with it.
Well, kind of.
Yeah.
I'm still learning.
I mean, everyone's learning. But you can share that experience and hopefully people can learn and apply that to their own life and be sympathetic to those who are dealing with it.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere I should start?
So, do you want to start like with early childhood?
Sure. I have a good example. I was always an anxious child, but my first fear started in preschool when we would take naps and the fire alarms would go off very loudly. And from there,
yeah.
I developed a phobia of fire alarms, where I was so terrified. Whenever I'd be in the building, I'd be like on edge nonstop. And that was a time. Then I had to go through therapy where they'd play on a recorder the sound of a fire alarm to help me get less stressed. And I don't remember when I stopped being scared of fire alarms, but that was when I first had my first phobia.
Did that reliving it help you, like listening to that?
I don't think so, no.
Did it cause more anxiety?
Just being there caused anxiety. Like, I kind of grew out of it when I went to elementary school because the fire alarms weren't so loud. But, like, even when I hear a fire alarm now or even a sound that kind of resembles one, like, I get really tense. Like, I was out to eat, like, a week ago, and there's this weird music from this club down the street that was playing this weird siren, like, music, and I, like, started getting really anxious, and like, I think I was feeling a bit nervous already, and I just got panicky, and I, like, couldn't finish eating, because I was just, like, breathing heavily, heart racing. Like, it still hits me sometimes.
Hi, Haley. Hi, Nana. Thanks for joining us. We're talking about anxiety with Dara this week, and we're telling some childhood stories of what it was like to live with anxiety.
Okay, so that was preschool. Then, in elementary school, I got my second phobia, which I still kind of have today. I'm not sure if you'd actually call it a phobia now. When in the 4th grade, this girl, I don't remember, like, I think I got it before then, but this girl threw up and I had a panic attack. And I developed emetophobia, which is the fear of throwing up, which is a real thing. Like, it has a scientific name and people have it. But I am terrified of that. Like, whenever I hear about it, if I feel like my stomach hurts, I'll get a panic attack. Like, I have received panic attacks just from being scared about throwing up. Like, I will, like, heart racing, and like, it stopped me from doing a lot of stuff, and like, I'm still scared of that now, and that might have added on to the anxiety I have around eating. I'm a very small person, and I try so hard to gain weight, but it just doesn't happen, and I'll eat a little bit and I'll feel full, and then I'll feel so full it'll make me feel kind of weird, which will give me a panic attack, and I won't be able to eat anymore. So it's kind of a vicious cycle where I just can't really get enough food, and I've been working on it for a long time, but it's not something that you can just fix easily. Like, I've gone to people and I've tried to eat like special nutritious food, but I'm a picky eater and it's difficult to find things.
So can you explain what a panic attack feels like, or is it different every time? Is it the same?
There's 2 different ones I get for myself. I know it's different for other people, but for me, like, it's either where I feel like my chest, well, it's basically both the same, but I feel like my chest is burning and I can't breathe and my heart's like beating really rapidly and I get really hot and I just feel like I'm about to melt or explode. I don't know, but it's just like my entire chest area feels like it's like heating up and I just like can't get enough air and everything kind of goes blurry and dizzy, and it doesn't usually last very long, but afterwards it's just so tiring to and like recover from that. So yeah, I know it's different for other people though. Like, some people say it's like having a heart attack. I wouldn't know. I've never had a heart attack, but I don't usually get chest pain, but just like a feeling here. And like I also just have fear about about like body and sickness in general. I got this really terrible fear of death, which I know is a kind of regular fear, but when I went to camp when I was very young, the JCC, I was at the summer program, and we were at the pool when this little boy like didn't come out from the pool, so they got him out and they called an ambulance, and all of us kids were stuck in the field of like dripping wet, and we didn't know what happened. They let us go, but later that night I found out that the boy had passed away from some congenital heart condition, and that really caused me to have a lot of existential dread. And like I remember like a few days later I had a panic attack in the shower where I ran out crying, like dripping wet, and I still like probably shampoo in my hair. And I was just like, I don't want to die, and like I still have fear about that, and just like fear about what happens next, and just whatever I do, I have this fear that I'm gonna like pass out. Like I think it stems down to the fear of losing control and like not being able to make decisions and be conscious. And that's like losing control is throwing up, losing control is fainting, losing control is dying. Like I don't know. I think that's what it stems from, which I don't know why, but that's what it is.
So, are you able to recognize when a panic attack's about to happen?
I can recognize it and I can try to breathe, but most of the times, like once it's happening, it's too late. So, like, I know it's happening, but like you can be aware, but it's still just as painful and bad. Like when it happens, I do take like I have the lorazepam, which I take, and like I have extra ones that I can take afterwards, which can help me relax after, but it's not really something you can stop easily.
So, how did you go through the diagnosis process of?
I don't even remember.
You don't know?
I was so young. It was like preschool age. Like I started going to therapy when I was like 4, and I've been in it ever since. And like it's like runs in my family, so they kind of already had an idea about it. But like my anxiety is a lot worse than others. Like they had other things like depression and stuff, which I have it, but it's not as bad. But it's just like mainly anxiety that fuels everything. And it's just kind of always been with me.
So, you say you go to therapy regularly. Do you think that helps? Do you enjoy doing that?
I don't know. Like I think it helps, but at the same time, like they could help me come up with coping mechanisms and like ways to deal with it. Like I have a mantra my therapist taught me, I am happy, I am good, which I'll just repeat to myself over and over again sometimes. And it can help, but at the same time, like it's mostly up to me, and it's like my body taking control. Like it isn't even like I don't have any conscious control, so I'll try to like calm down, but it really has to do with how I'm doing in life in general. Like if I'm busy, if I'm happy, if I'm bored, like it just depends. And like it does help to have somebody to talk to, but I'm not sure if it really is a cure.
So, what are your best strategies to help you like in those moments that you have a panic attack? Are you able to help yourself?
I like to think I can, but I'm not even sure if I can. Like if I'm feeling nervous, like I breathe, I take my meds, I try to think happy thoughts, I distract myself. Going on my phone in a sad way helps, just like looking at funny articles. But if it gets to like this breaking point, like there's nothing I can do really. Like if it's below that, I can like probably calm myself down or do something, but once it reaches some point, like there's no going back.
So the strategies I use with sensory overload and anxiety and stuff like that, that overwhelming feelings of any kind really, is coined by Danny Rady. It's called being with it, where you let the emotion happen and you don't resist it, and you go, identify this is what I'm feeling, and you let the emotion flow through you, and you let it pass. And then you reframe and go, this is not forever, it's just for now. because your anxiety is telling you this is forever, you'll always feel like this, there's nothing you can do about it. But you go, okay, that's not reality. I know that this won't last. And then you reframe and go, okay, that isn't the end of the world, even though I believe it's the end of the world right now and everything's telling me it is. It's not.
And like,
and you slowly change those thoughts to be more centered in reality.
Because like, it's possible to do that, but like, there's the point like I was talking about where like you literally lose the ability to think rationally. Like it's all like fight or flight. Like your brain goes into like some primal thing, and it's like you can't even think that way until it's over, and then you can do that. But like in the moment, like there's nothing else happening at all, and like I've tried before. It really doesn't work though. Like some people say there are mechanisms, but once you're there, it's like you don't have control of your mind or your body. It's just going on without you, and you're just like you feel like you're dying, and there's nothing you can do except for just wait it through and breathe heavily and feel sick to your stomach.
So, what would you like other people to do in that sort of situation? Do you want to be left alone? Do you want help?
I think it depends, but like I do like having people there to make me feel like I have somebody to lean on, like, and to like be there to help me. Like it does help, like people to like let me be and not be like you're overreacting or just like telling me to calm down, but just like sit with me, stay with me, and like understand what's happening and just like wait for it to be over, and then when it's over maybe go with me somewhere, like help distract me, get me something. But I think it really depends based on the person. Like some people might want to be alone, but like there's sometimes I may want to be alone to like lie down. Like a lot of times after I have an anxiety attack, I'll just sleep for a bit, close my eyes, and I'll wake up and I'll feel a little better.
There's Benji playing with his new toys. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to start posting them, and we'll get to them eventually.
You only have one eye.
Oh, man. I think that number's wrong.
Yeah, because it's only blocked out that.
Yeah. Let's see. What are the questions I'm gonna come up with? So what do you think about the topic of medication? Because I know there's people who like feel really, really strongly about like should you medicate, should you not medicate, what medication does, what it doesn't do. Because like I know there's like a misunderstanding that medication is a cure. It's not a cure. Nope. It just takes something that's like a mountain high and just makes it into like a hill.
Makes it more manageable
where
in
it's
a way.
like it's less, but it doesn't go away, and you can still have like those huge moments if like an event happens that causes that. But it just helps to make it a little bit easier. It doesn't take it away.
Yeah, and like I don't know about my Prozac. I'm on 80 milligrams Prozac, though I have trouble with pills too, so I've been taking 60. And there's been times when I literally like just can't swallow it, so I don't take it, and then I feel even worse. So like that might just be withdrawal, but it really does help, and it makes life more easy to go through. And just like knowing that I have my lorazepam with me, like in case I get worked up, to just calm me down, like makes it better. Like even like a placebo effect, where it's just like it's there, so I'm okay. And like it doesn't fix everything, but it makes me be able to calm down enough to like get down from that state and get a bit lower, so that I can manage it better and think rationally. It like takes it from fight or flight to like thinking clearly enough to do what needs to be done, to like get rest, talk to somebody, distract myself, even just breathe. But it does depend on the person, but I think it really helps. Like I think that people should try it to see what it's like. Like you shouldn't just ignore it because you're against it. Like try it, and if you don't like it, stop it. But it could really help. And there's nothing wrong with needing some medication. Like it won't make you sick. Like it's not some terrible thing. It does some real good, and there's a lot of people who really do need it. like especially for people with depression, like just to be able to make it through the day. Like I know that's not all, but like it can really give a boost, and it goes from person to person. Like I've been on some medications that make me feel really wonky, and I had to stop those immediately. But like when you find the ones that work, it does help.
So, um, how do you deal with, because you go on stage being an actor,
Oh yeah.
and that is causes panic attacks, and most people, one of the biggest fears is giving a speech. So, is that something that just doesn't cause you anxiety, or is just easier to get through because you enjoy it?
So the audition process is usually the part where I'm the most anxious. Like that's where I get like short of breath, like just the audition. But then like when I'm on stage, and like I'm nervous before we start, like I'm really anxious, but once I'm up there, I'm okay. Like if I have to be frozen in a position for a show, that's what freaks me out. Like I start like getting shaky. I'm like, I can't stay here. But like if I'm moving around, if I'm dancing, if I'm doing a movement or have something to focus on other than my body being still, I'm fine and I'm happy up there and it's great. It just scares me when I have to like not move, like stand in place. Like I always have to be moving. Like this is the thing. Like it helps it's like my anxiety manifesting itself. Like I'm always tapping or whittling or holding something, and like it's the same on stage. Like I was in a show where we had to be frozen in a position for a while, and it was actually the best I've ever been, where I wasn't that nervous. But like in the past, I'd get like the burning in my chest a tiny bit, like out of fear, like if I'd been frozen on stage, like while somebody else performed or doing like a small motion, and I was just like, I'm just standing here. What's keeping me from falling over? And like I didn't feel supported by my own 2 feet. But like once I get into it, like I forget about that because I love it.
I'm gonna go on my phone and see if like people are leaving comments. I'm not seeing them because we've come to a halt. But let's continue.
What is there to tell? I feel like you know my whole life story now. Musical theater, anxiety, emetophobia, fear of losing control. There's good parts too. My life is pretty good now. It wasn't so good before, but it's good now. Is there anything? Okay, that frog is driving me crazy. Is that even a frog? It doesn't even sound like a frog. I think it's supposed to be a frog.
Oh, that makes sense.
Nice on Dance. Why are you looking right there? And then he's back. Oh! Oh my! Ah! Little patter of dog feet. I think that a surface animal would really benefit me, but I already have 4 cats and a dog, none of whom are trained or like can work or like can be emotional support. Like they can't help, but when I'm in college, wouldn't be very plausible or easy for me to take an animal with me. So I just manage without, but animals are one of my go-to places when I'm feeling nervous. Like distress with pets helps me so much. Like there was one time I got like bad food poisoning, which is kind of gross, but the next day I was feeling awful and I ran into this big, don't remember what kind of dog, it was like a Bernese mountain dog puppy that walked around campus a lot, and I pet the puppy for like 10 minutes, just stood there with her, and like I felt better afterwards. Like animals are really important and they really help. You definitely know this.
Yes. How do you feel about exercising in like healthy diets? Because I know like there's a belief that a healthy lifestyle equals a healthy mind. Do you feel like that helps you when you're like doing healthier things? Does that help your anxiety?
I think it does. I haven't been very in a while, but like just doing like dance and shows, like and being active makes me feel better. But that's just also something I love. But definitely like eating healthier helps me because of my stomach fear, and knowing that there's good things are going into my stomach like makes my anxiety less. But that's a lot mental too. But it just like it can work in like running and like moving around. Like I don't run much, but exercise does like make me feel good. Like I forget about stuff because I'm so focused on panting and like getting sweaty and stuff. And it can be helpful. I have to be better at that. I'm not managing that as well as I should. So I'm now walking a long time every day, which I think is kind of exercise.
What do you think about meditation?
I've never really tried it. I've done a few mindfulness exercises in my classes, which have been okay. Like I've been able to get into them. Like there's a few that I really like. Like there's one about like putting your worries on leaves on a stream and like watching them go away. Some of them can help, but others I can't get into it. I'm just twitching the entire time and I can't stay still. But like if I do get into it, it does calm me down. But that's when I'm already in a calm state. So I don't know like if I'd be able to get there if I was in a higher state. Like when I'm already calm, it's fine and I can do it. But it's hard to like bring yourself down fast. So I could work on that.
Yeah, because I found like for me, meditation really helps the mind settle down. Where when I'm in a more uncomfortable state of mind, that having somewhere to like escape, let my mind calm down, like meditation, um, or like balance kind of stuff like yoga, kind of or dance or whatever it is that can get you to that meditative state.
Yeah, dancing does really help me. Like doing ballet, like whenever I do my ballet classes, like and Beyond Bar, where we just do plie and stretch and plie and stretch and grand plie and stretch and second position, like just doing the repetitive motions. I always like had so much fun with that until it got really complicated. I wasn't very good, but the easier ones really relaxed me, and I did really enjoy that. Like I missed that part of ballet. Like I wish there was like a ballet class or something I could do where we weren't expected to do any hard moves or be yelled at by a teacher or anything, but we could just do it for the relaxation part of it and just to have fun. And I feel like so many dancers like are just so stressed about getting the moves right that they forget to enjoy it. And like I'm not a great dancer by any means. Like I've taken dance classes. I like dancing, but once it gets too stressful, I just kind of zone out. Like I can do it in a show because like that's fun, but in classes where it gets like really strenuous, it gets hard. But it does help. And like another place I go, like when I'm trying to like have my mind escape, like I read a lot, and like I may not be able to meditate, but like when I'm reading, that really helps. Like I have some favorite books that whenever I'm feeling down, I'll just pull out the same book that I probably read like 15 times, and that calms me down really fast.
I like listening to music that doesn't have lyrics, where I can just where I don't like have to focus on the words. I can just like let my mind wander to something besides what it's anxious about.
I like to just start singing randomly or singing songs I've heard or songs I wrote. Just singing in general helps me, and then like writing, even like writing poetry or songs and like then singing them and like working on them. Like when I'm in like the zone, like there's a concept you learn in psychology about this zone you get in where like nothing else matters and you're just in that. That really helps. Like I was writing this one song for a show I'm working on where it was like I was just working on it for a straight hour, doing voice recordings and working on the lyrics, changing the lyrics, fixing it up. And I was just so into that time went by so fast, and afterwards I was like really proud of what I'd done, plus I was just really calm. So like I think it really depends on what you like, but when you get into that zone, that can really help. Like if you like sports, if you like writing, if you like dance, I don't know what other things, but just like when there's something you enjoy and you get into it and you zone in, everything else kind of goes away for a while.
Is there something you would just want everyone to know about anxiety and what you go through? Just like something you want them to know about it. You could speak to them about it, and they just would understand what you're saying.
Well, anxiety is valid. Like a lot of people are just like, it's just anxiety. Just calm down and deal with it. But that's not how it works. And don't feel
anxiety
bad.
isn't just like a normal fear. It's not just like, oh, I don't want to do that or I don't like that. Anxiety is like, I can't do that.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And just like, you are valid. Like, your anxiety is valid. Don't feel guilty about feeling anxious and not wanting to join your peers or doing something with everybody else. Like, it is normal. It's fine. Like, it may feel sucky, but don't feel like there's something wrong with you ever. And just like with anxiety, like find what works for you. Like, there's so many different people saying things that help. This is definitely the cure for anxiety. There is no cure. There's just ways to manage it, and there's a way that will help you manage it best. Like, there's a way to help me manage it. I'm not even sure if I found it yet, but I'm searching, and I am doing the best I can, and just believe that like there is some way for you, and like it doesn't have to be some magical, spectacular, psychological way. Like, it can be what works for you, and like try not to get over that threshold. Like, if you feel yourself getting even slightly like aroused, like take yourself out of that situation, remove yourself, distract yourself, do your zone, do meditation, do what works for you, so you don't get to that zone where it's fight or flight, like no rational thought. Because once you're there, you can't stop, and it's just a like long way down from there. So those are my main things. And just anxiety is real. Anxiety is a thing, and it affects a lot of people. And there's been so many people who've just told me like, it's okay, you're fine. Just take a breath. And I'm like, that's not how it works. That's definitely not it, and that's not helping. And like, they were just like, oh, just use your breathing techniques. Calm down. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like, I'm trying to breathe.
I've had people tell me that they don't have autism.
Oh my
autism
God.
is real. So I totally get that. And or like an aspect of autism that I'm dealing with. I'm like, oh, I can't do that because I have a sensory flare up or whatever the issue is. And they're like, oh, well, just try a little bit harder. Just try it this time.
Yeah, and just like, the breathing might work with this time. Like, breathe in and out, use your mantras. I'm like, maybe that might work sometimes, but when I'm at this point, like,
and everyone is different. Like,
yeah,
right? Different things. And like, maybe you need a different mantra than someone else. You know, because I have mantras, and I'm sure ours aren't the same. Like, mine is, this is not forever.
You
That's
know,
normally what
the mantra I had in elementary school was literally, don't die, don't throw up, don't die. And like, I literally repeat that to myself. Like, that's so sad to think of now. But like, it was like, don't die and then don't throw up. Like, those were the two main things. And that's what I literally repeat to myself on and on. And like, I still like once in a while find myself saying that, and that's like not helpful. That's just like sad. And like, I've tried to move on like from that. Be like, I'm happy, I'm good.
I think my first mantra was like, I hate this.
Yeah.
I hate this so much.
Yeah, like I literally just repeat that. Like, I don't want to die, I don't want to throw up. And those are just all that mattered. And like, you can't think about anything else. And just a sick feeling everywhere. And also, one thing about my anxiety, I'm like very psychosomatic. Like, it manifests in my body. So like, I will feel like I will actually be sick. I will feel sick, and then that will make me more anxious, and it will turn into a vicious circle. So like, people who say like anxiety isn't physical, they're wrong.
It's very, very
like,
physical.
Like, people have like gone to the hospital. Like, I read this article on Facebook. This guy went to a hospital because of a panic attack, and this nurse is just like, you just want drugs, get out of here. And it's like, you can't do that. Like, I think he was on a withdrawal from some anxiety med, but still, like, it's legitimate, and like, it causes physical symptoms. Like, I've had to take mental health days, but they've been physical health days because I've literally like been like woozy, headache, chest ache, stomach ache, whole body ache, hard to move. And like, it's not something that you can just turn off. It's truly like, you are sick, your body is sick. It's not just your mind.
Yeah, with autism, when I'm in a state of mind that isn't healthy, I have actual sensory flare-ups where it feels like there's like bugs or electricity on my skin. And like, there's like these sensations that are really physical, that are so uncomfortable that I can't function. That's like, if I were at school, I'd be like, I look sick. I would, and I'd be crying, and I'd be a mess, and in pain.
I've burst into tears in classes before.
Yeah, and so when I come to school and go, I had an autism flare-up, a sensory flare-up, or anxiety or depression, whatever I said it was, there was always that one person like, oh, well, you could have just come anyway.
You know what was so annoying? like when you go to the nurse because of your anxiety and they'd be like, oh, unless you have a fever, you can't call home or anything. And
Yeah.
Like, I'm sick. I can't be in school. Like, I literally can't focus. I will burst into tears. I will, like, just be a mess unless, like, you send me home. But they're like, you don't have a fever. You can make it. And I'm like, no, I can't. And, like, you can't see me right now, but my legs are literally still, like, shaking a bit. Like, not from anxiety, but just, like, I have to move. Like, I have this nervous energy all the time. And it's like, is just always there, and like the teachers and the people who invalidate you, it just makes it so much worse. And like it's just hard, and like people don't understand it, and more people are getting to it now, but it's still like there's a long way to go just with all mental health. Like I was planning on telling you this story about this kid I'm working with at this camp I'm interning at, that he's a very sweet kid. He has ADD, so he's very energetic. But he came in today with his mom, and his mom like went to us teachers, and she's like, "Oh, so and so doesn't have a lunch today because he didn't want a lunch, and he didn't have breakfast either. He also had a rough night, and he was being so bad this morning we had to call the cops." Like I'm not sure if he actually called the cops or they pretended to, but who does that to a 7-year-old? And like he always talks to me so much, and I listen, and I think that's why he talks to me, because he's not used to people listening and letting him talk. And just like I don't think his parents know how to deal with him fully, and I just feel so bad for him. Like he tells all these lies, like these huge lies, because he just wants attention, and it just like the parents probably just don't know how to deal. And I think people just need to learn how that this is real, and that they have to find solutions, and they can't just take it out and be mean or be rude or ignore it, because it exists and people are affected in very many ways.
Yeah, and I'm sure as a young kid you have a hard time communicating. I'm having anxiety right now. And so it's a very different sort of communication where you can straight up say what was exactly going on. So that can be misinterpreted as a tantrum, as a meltdown, as a bratty kid, instead of I can't do this. I don't want to. Or I need this. Why can't I have this?
I miss like some school trips and stuff. Yeah. And like I get like my parents would try to make me eat some food, and they'd be like, try just get some new food, and I'd literally be so anxious because it scared me to try any new food. Like at one point I was scared that like either I was poisoned or that because this was very irrational, but when I was scared of like had the very strong emetophobia when I was like 7 or 8, I'd be scared that my parents were trying to slip me Ipecac to make me throw up, so I wouldn't be so scared of it. Like that's totally irrational. But I don't know why I got into this story, but like I was literally like I would make my parents taste test all my food, and I'd be terrified to try any new food, and they'd be like, it's fine, and I'd be like, try it first. I want to make sure nobody slipped me anything. Like what child thinks that? I was so scared. It was interesting, and like I still have trouble trying new foods. And like whenever I do, I get kind of anxious that it'll upset my stomach because I still have that fear inside. And just like parents, like my parents have been great. Like I love my mom and dad; they're amazing, and like it just they have to be supportive and understand and like let you be when you need to be like allow you to say no and be like it's okay for you to say no and back out, which they've done a lot. And just like parents should never force their kids to do anything. Like if your kid is like really upset, don't make them do anything. Back down and like be like what, like listen to them, because they just want to be heard. Like that's the main thing about this kid and others. We just want to be listened to and understood. And
the why is very important. Like why do I have to do this? Where when that's explained, a lot of times those fears for me go away. Where it's like, well, why do I have to go to the doctors? Or why do I have to go to school every day? Why? And so I feel like a lot of those whys are brushed aside as, well, you just have to. And well, then for me, it's like, well, it causes so much anxiety, I'd rather not. And if it's just the rule is, you just have to, then I don't want to anymore.
And people are always like, it'll be fun, it'll be great. And like, for you, maybe it's not going to be great for me, and like trying to pressure me into doing this isn't going to make it any better.
And I know me being a positive person after like a terrible experience, I go home and try to think of like the couple good things that happened, and then that would be used against me as like, well, you had fun last time. You told me like all the great things that happened.
Yeah, and just like I am a very bubbly person. Like especially this last year I've gotten so outgoing and I'm always like really jumpy and happy, but I'm still very anxious and it can switch very fast from like happy energy to nervous energy. And like people are like, you look so happy, and I'm like, well, I was happy until I wasn't because I had a random trigger that freaked me out. And just like knowing that like even when you seem happy at one moment, like it's not gonna last and they can't use that against you.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've decimated this round doll. But this one's still nice. Ooh, go pioneer life. Can't have one. His little arm fell off. So his arm might start unraveling. Hi, Benji. Hi. Oh, come on.
Does anyone have any questions? Give us some feedback about what you think about what's happening.
We're here to answer questions.
Yeah. Comment away. Leave us some questions. Doesn't have to be anxiety related.
Any questions?
So do you have any stories about anxiety, like horror stories or happy stories?
Well, I just thought of a very, very random story. I don't know why I thought of this, but there was this time in elementary school, I was in the school cafeteria, and I got this, I got like the chicken nuggets, which were kind of terrible. I took a bite of one, and I found this like gigantic chunk of like salt or like some white stuff, and like I had a full-on panic attack right there, and like ran to the nurse, terrified I got food poisoning because there was a tiny white blob in my chicken nugget. Yeah, that happened. But I also have a happy story that actually happened just a week ago. I went for training for the summer camp I'm interning at. We went to a ropes course, and I was terrified the entire time of the zip lines because even though I've done them before, I was so terrified. And like I was like, when it was my turn, like I was shaking so hard. I was like, should I do this? And like I strapped myself in and like I have to do this, but I was so terrified. I just forced myself to jump, and it was so fun. And like I felt like I was flying, which is like one of my dreams. Like not airplane flying, that's not very fun. But just, and then like we got the chance to do it again, and I had so much fun. It was like there's some things that if you push past, it'll be fun. Like, and you have to know when it's okay and when it's not, and like know when you'll be comfortable and when you'll survive, and just knowing yourself. Because that was a great experience for me. Like I was exhausted but really happy afterwards, and like I didn't feel great afterwards because I went through so much stress, but I felt like confident in myself for being able to do that. Yeah. My throat is so dry.
I remember it was spring break. I went to visit our friend Emily, and she was telling me like, oh, you and Dara are writing the musical. And I was like, yeah. She's like, Dara has so much anxiety and stress over that musical. I'm like, why? It's just a fun passion project. She's like, well, it's Dara. She stresses over everything.
That's so true. I stress over literally everything. Like just anything I'm doing, I will stress. Sometimes I'll be stressed and I won't even know why I'm stressed out, and like, why am I stressed? And then I'll calm myself down and I'll be like, oh, I'm okay. There's nothing to be stressed about. Like I literally like every little thing stresses me out. Like in college, I was so freaking ahead on all my work. Like I'd be like, friends, hang out, and they're like, we have work, and I'm like, but I'm done. But I'd still be stressed out, even though I was literally like pretty much done. Like I'm like a good student, yet I still stress out. And just like my driver today, like it literally, my driving instructor was like, you look stressed. And I'm like, you got to learn to calm down and trust yourself when driving. And I was like, well, I know that. Like people are always like, you just got to calm down and relax. I'm like, I know that. Like I've been told this a million times.
It's not as easy as just,
yeah, like I've tried for years. I know.
If that was a cure, that would be wonderful.
That would be great.
Like, calm down. Or like, you can just calm down.
It's like everybody tells you that, and just like you just need to relax.
It's almost not helpful. It's just the opposite of helpful, because then you're just like mad, like, oh my god.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
Don't tell me to calm down.
It's so bad. And I'm just like, I wish I could. You think I haven't tried hundreds of times to calm down? It's not that easy.
And then there's like the difference between like the sympathetic calm down and then the like harsh like calm down kind of, you know. There's like those people who are like trying and you just know they don't know what to say. They're like, oh, calm down. You're like, oh, thank you. But then there's like the people who actually are like just like, why don't you just calm down like that?
It's like, well, why don't you learn to be respectful?
Yeah.
It's not that easy.
Emotions don't just work like that. You can't just go, okay, I'm not mad anymore. Okay,
the brain is complex. There's a lot to the brain. It's not simple. There's nothing simple about the human brain, or any brain for that matter, except for maybe like a sea cucumber. Do they even have brains? Sorry, I'm thinking about sea cucumbers. Some of the kids who play this game where you have to pick an animal, and then they have questions, and you're on a cross, and a few kids picked sea cucumbers, so that's on my mind right now.
Have you ever had an anxiety attack about having an anxiety attack?
Yes. Like, I have anxiety about getting anxiety later. Like, I have anxiety about my mental health getting worse later. Like, I have anxiety about getting depression. Like, I'm not, like, depressed, but I have anxiety about getting depressed. And literally one time I had an anxiety attack because I was scared I was going to be depressed. Like, I'll just be anxious that I'll get worse. And it's just, like, a vicious cycle. It's so bad. Like, living with anxiety sucks. And, like high school was the worst. Like public school, like now that I'm in college, like it's still bad, but I'm better and I can deal with it. But like then I missed so much school because I was just so scared and nervous and sick all the time.
Yeah, I feel like in college there was this, all of a sudden there was this acceptance, like, oh, it's okay to have a mental health day. And I remember peers just like going, you should take a mental health day, like leave the classroom. Where in like all other school I experienced, and I don't know if it's just like the nice colleges I went to,
yeah.
but all other experiences I had with school, because I went to private school, I also went to public school, it was like you didn't have a mental health day, like that was not okay. And it was almost like when you said I need a mental health day, the teachers were like, you're too young to need a mental health day.
And like that's where I was lucky, because my mom she was like, you can have like one mental health day a month. And like sometimes I take more and she wouldn't mind because she really understood. So she'd let me take the time off and she'd watch Disney movies with me sometimes. And like that would be what I really needed. And that like was probably one of the reasons I actually made it through high school without getting any crazier.
And I think like mental health days actually help you to not physically get sick.
Exactly.
As well.
Like, because they're connected. Physical and mental is completely connected. It's all connected.
Where like there's such thing as stress sickness that happens to most people like during finals week.
Yep.
Where like your immune system kicks up into high gear when you're stressed, and then when you come down from that,
you get sick.
It goes, okay, we're good now, and then all those germs that you came in encounter with then are able to take hold because your immune system is gone because it worked overtime more than it should have.
It's weird though. I didn't get sick at all my first year at SLC, but like a few weeks after I got home, I got the worst cold. Yeah. It was like, it took a while. I was like, is this just not going to happen this year? And then it hit me and I was like, it's happened.
Yeah. That's very common. And so like, if you're living with anxiety, I'm sure that could happen way more often. So it's like you're not only having to deal with stress and being at school, not being able to pay attention, but then you get sick and you miss days. So if you just like take a few mental health days, which I feel would be like way fewer than your sick days, then you don't get physically sick as well.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, I've experienced this on both sides. It is very true. C'est vrai. You know, I'm getting tired when I start speaking French. But I do that all the time. Like, I accidentally spoke French to a camper today, and they're just like, what did you say? I was like, je suis désolée. And I was like, I'm sorry. My mind is strange, and I've accepted that. I like my mind now, even though it makes me crazy sometimes, but that's my mind making me crazy. Like, that's weird. You like to use some anti-anxiety medication, the stuff doctors prescribe. My psychiatrist knows best, and we try stuff, and I find out what works. Like, I'm on Prozac and lorazepam right now. I've been on other stuff in the past. Like, it might stop working soon because I've been on it so long, which is kind of scary. But I don't really know anything about supplements. I don't know if they're even scientifically really proven. Are they?
Well, supplements you can take for like iron deficiency, vitamin deficiency, like all those kind of things. I don't know if there's one like specifically for anxiety.
People might say there are, but I don't know if that's actually proven. Like, if you,
I don't, unless it also affects, like your anxiety affects some other thing,
in your
actual thing
body,
that you need to balance out. I don't think a supplement will counter that.
like, it could like make your body healthier. Like, I had to take one for vitamin D because I didn't have enough, and maybe that helped me because it just made me healthier. But there's nothing that specifically that will specifically help anxiety. Like, if you really need help, like, go to a psychiatrist and figure things out like that. Like, do the healthy lifestyle stuff, but also take meds. Like, they do help when you find the right one. And like, I just don't know about supplements. Like, I feel like that's kind of a load of hooey in some cases. So I have to do more research on that. But from what I've learned through all my years of dealing with this, supplements do not really help. Not that I've really tried them, but like, just from what I've read and like knowing what I know and the people I've met, I guess I don't really think supplements really do much
For anxiety.
for anxiety.
They do things, just not for.
Yeah, like they
anxiety.
can help. They can make you healthier, but just when it comes to brain chemistry, I don't think supplements have any effect on your chemistry of your brain. Like, these medicines, like, there's serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Like, they actually increase the serotonin in your brain. And like, these stuff, they have a chemical effect in your brain, which is where anxiety comes from, which is what helps. Like, I don't think supplements will have any effect on how your brain works and the chemicals in your brain. Go biology, anatomy.
What do you think about essential oils? Do you know anything about them?
I've never tried them, but strong scents make me more anxious and they make me feel kind of sick. So I don't think they'd work for me. They might work for other people, but I'm like a super sniffer also. Like, I have a great sense of smell, which is kind of weird, but just when I smell anything, like, it starts making me feel kind of bad.
Like this lavender calming. It's like,
yeah, like if I use like a body wash, it works. What do you say?
They're just light.
Oh yeah, drowsiness. Yep, I deal with that. Like, I'm tired a lot of the time, and I think it's just really experimenting and finding the drug that has the most positive effect with the least like side effects. And it really, like, you have to try different things. And like my lorazepam, it makes me sleepy, but it's kind of nice because it makes me calm too, and that's kind of bad. But I think it really does depend on the person, just finding what's right for you. Like, I think I've been on Zoloft, and that did not work for me. Like, I had many panic attacks and felt, like, foggy in my head for a while because of that. Like, the stuff I'm on now, like, makes me think clearly, but I may get a little tired. But now I've taken it so much, I'm used to it, so I don't even notice the drowsiness. So it really, just finding what's right for you and getting used to it and, like, learning how to live with it. But it is, like, individual. Oh my gosh. Flashing everybody.
Hey, Benji.
Benji!
You're the best medication for anxiety. You are. Yeah. You're very
Sundance.
calming.
Will you join us? Sundance is asleep. I bet he doesn't come. I can't even though he's my baby.
Sunny, come.
He is really asleep. Let's not bother him. That boy is out. He must be sleepy, even though he was at home all day.
And she got upset that I called Sunny.
Oh, you woke him up and he barked. Hi, Sundance. Hello. Are you my baby? Sundance. Oh, see, he goes up to you. Why would he do that? I'm Oh, he farted. Gross. Why would you fart?
Okay. I had a question. I just lost it. Okay, everybody. So, I found that when I'm in a state of mind where like I'm like sick or like tired or like something else like is exhausting me, that my mind like is really I'm able to just like let things flow without like overthinking things because I'm like too tired to think about things.
Oh, that happened to me today.
And it's like a really cool state of mind where like I feel most productive in like writing and creating, and I also like go out and do things that I feel like I wouldn't do normally.
Yeah, I agree.
And like even though like obviously if I'm sick enough where like I'm in pain and stuff, I don't like I'm in bed. But if like it's just like bothering um, how much energy I have, then I'll go out and like do things that I wouldn't normally because I'm just like not overthinking it.
Yeah, like when I was taking driving lessons, at first I was really stressed, but then I was so tired. Like I don't think it was a good idea for me to be driving, but the guy was like, "Just keep going. I'm tired too." And I'm like, "Okay," but I was just so tired that I was driving better than I've ever driven before, and it's been a year, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm turning now," and like I may have made a few really sudden stops, but I was pretty chill, and that's never happened before. But he still said I looked stressed, but I felt pretty good. And I was just like cruising along, half asleep. My eyes were kind of blurry, and I'm like, why is he letting me drive for 2 hours? I'm not safe. But I did pretty well. Though I think he was trying to be nice, but I don't know. But yeah, and like for writing and music, sometimes when you're in a weird state, and then yeah, it's very true. Like I'm probably gonna have to go to bed soon because I have to wake up at 6:30.
All right, we're gonna start wrapping up. So if you guys have any last questions or comments, tell us if you enjoyed the topic and would like to see Dara again or talk about anxiety again.
And if you ever have a question, you can Facebook message me and ask me. I will answer, unless I got a weird message from this guy I don't know today asking me to babysit. And like, just don't ask me to babysit and don't be like, I heard you on the Starlight talk and I had a question. Don't just like randomly, like, that'll be weird. Don't be weird.
Yeah, so if you'd like to know more about OurTism, this is our website, OurTism.com. We provide services there for people with autism profiles, which could include anxiety, ADD, anything similar like that. If you think you would benefit from coaching, support groups, or social groups, do that. I also have a blog where I write my thoughts about living with autism, and we're getting a few new people who are talking about their life with ADD and anxiety and all these different areas. So that'll be cool. And I do these talks every week at the same time, Wednesdays at 7 Pacific Standard Time.
Or 10. I go to bed early. I'm a sleepy person all the time. But I like doing this. And for this, hi Kevin, I'm not quite sure what CBD oil is, but yeah, that sounds kind of stressful, like weight gain and stuff. Like I said, like trying different things, and I don't know, like if you gain a little weight but you're happier, I say gain the weight and like exercise. But like I think mental health is everything. Like if you're happier, you will be healthier, and your body will be healthier. But like don't take it if it stresses you out. Find something else, and just there's so many different medications. There's so many. Like if you have a psychiatrist, like just talk to them and they'll help you figure out, and like try something. If it doesn't work, stop taking it, try something else, and like just experiment, because like this is you in charge. You're in charge of what you take and what you put in your body. And yeah, those aren't great inspiring final words, but I hope they're helpful. My like brain is slightly shutting down. Like I literally usually go to bed at 10 or 10:30. Like I'm the anti-college student. Like I don't go to parties. I didn't touch alcohol once, and I go to bed at like 10. I wake up. I like haven't missed any classes. I do my work like weeks early. Like what am I? Who am I? 2, 4, 6.
No, you're a girl with a lot of anxiety.
That is true.
So that makes sense. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to our Starlight Talks. Next week we will be talking about Enneagram with Charlie.
Enneagram's so cool. Number 9, unite.
Thank you so much for listening. Have a colorful day. Love you.
Bye.